Hello, Olympico. Well, got home from our rained out session, and I thought that we'd make some lemonade out of lemons. Since the weather didn't cooperate with us today, we got a little unlucky. I wanted to talk with you about the defensive concepts we were going to work on today to help us prep for our game against Rush tomorrow. So, we have four things we're going to cover. The first three are going to be about defending balls, attacks that are coming on the right or left flank. And those ideas are 1v1 defending, 2v1, and 3v1 defending, and finally killing runs. And then once we talk about defending on the flanks, we're going to talk about the offside trap. Because Rush loves to send balls in behind from their back line. They like to just send a long ball into these spaces, either here into some runs or diagonal balls to the weak side. So we want to take care of making sure that when they try to do that, we are catching them in offside positions and neutralizing those attacks. So let's talk about 1v1 defending on the flanks. Let's start off with a player driving down the left flank. We have our back line set up right now as though the ball we're in a offensive shape right here. We're all kind of spread out, right? But what do we look like when the ball's coming down this left flank? We're going to be rotated over and be in a really good defensive shape. So we have our weak side, outside back, pretty much where an imaginary line divides the field in half. And then we're going to have the other, so we have an outside back here. The other back was our central back. We're kind of taking care of, we're staying linked up here, right? Our space is good. This player has rotated over to support this player. And we're in a good defensive shape here to take care of the 18 and also take care of this wide part of the field. So 1v1 defending, what is it? Well, 1v1 defending is when an attacker coming down the flank, and I go to defend, and my center back has stayed a little more central, and a gap is created between me and that center back, and my other support from the midfield hasn't arrived yet. So now there's this dangerous space here that I do not want to let this player get into. And how do I know when I'm in a 1v1 situation that don't have support? Well, that's going to be my teammates' responsibility to let me know, because I'm watching this player, right? I'm not looking behind me as I go on to defend, but these players can see that there's a space, a gap between here that doesn't give me any support. So this player and this player and this player with very strong, loud voices are letting me know to force this player wide. So I should be hearing wide, wide, wide from these girls. And that lets me know, guess what? I cannot allow this player, I can't take an angle on this player that allows her to cut inside and get into this dangerous space. My job is to take an angle on this player, right? So that, guess what? She's not going to be able to cut back inside on me. Instead, my job is to funnel her down the flank. And of course, we're all going to drop at this. I'm just going to focus on this to make it easy. I'm going to funnel her down the flank and then be patient, right? Don't dive in and deny her a serve in the box. So pretty simple. Again, I'm in a 1v1 situation with this outside back, this outside attacker, this flank attacker. It's an outside back. There is no support on the inside for me. These ladies are letting me know I'm in a 1v1 and my job is to keep her wide and funnel her down towards the end line. And the way they tell me that is they're going to yell at me, use strong voices and tell me wide, wide, wide. So that's 1v1 defending on the flank. 2v1 defending is we've rotated over, and as I arrive to press the player on the ball, my center back has arrived with me and is giving me really good support on the inside. So now I have two defensive players in a good position, and this player, and this player can let me know that I can send this player inside where I have some help. So I'm going to hear inside, inside, inside. That lets me know that I can take a different angle on this player, cut off her run down the flank, force her to cut the ball inside, and when she does that, we're going to collapse on her in a 2v1 defensive situation. We're going to double her, right? And have a really good chance of taking that ball off her foot and countering. So that is a 2v1 situation on the flank. And a 3v1 looks very similar. The difference is that in addition to my center back rotating to help me out and being in a good position, defensive support position, my 6 or my 8 has also done a great job of stepping in and providing me support on the inside. This is my other 6. It's my weak side attacking midi, or weak side midi stepping in. But what we have here now is great support. Again, I'm watching the player on the ball, the dangerous player that I'm taking care of. I don't know that I have support inside. They know it. So they're going to, again, with loud voices, let me know inside, inside, inside. Again, this is loud, very clear to me that my job is to funnel her into this support that I have, take a good angle, force her to cut in, right? And now we've led her into a trap, and now we have her neutralized. And again, hopefully we have a really good chance here of taking the ball off her foot, and off we go. If she drops it, great, we force a negative pass. We have a 7 or an 11 here, we can press that ball and look to win it for us. But that is our 3v1, and our 2v1 and 3v1 are completely dependent on the support that we're getting from our midi and our center back. Okay, so that is 1v1, 2v1, and 3v1 defending on the flanks. Tomorrow, we shouldn't see this too often, but we might see it because these wide players, they work the entire field. They are attacking when they're in possession, and they're outside backs when they're out of possession. These girls will drop all the way back and help defend. That means that on occasion, they're going to be looking to get in behind, right? And let's just say this is they're outside back on the ball, or they're back on the ball, and we will probably be a little higher here just to make this example be a little more true to life to what we see. And don't worry about these players, my focus is here, so we understand the idea we're looking to share. All right, the idea is I'm an outside back. I have a wide player, right, and she's near my back line, just kind of challenging the back line here with her positioning. And I've got a dribbler on the ball, an attacking player, and no pressure on that ball. So as this outside back, should I step to press, or should I track this run and kill it? On my team, I want you to kill this run. If you step to press, oops, let me flip this because the ball's there, and she takes the touch and sends the ball in behind me, I'm beat, right? And now I've put my back line under a little stress because now we're down to 3 backs. If this midi is not in a good position to help out, we're suddenly going to create a numbers up situation with these guys potentially, and we don't want that to happen. So what I want you doing, pretty simple, and again, don't worry about these, I can't move everybody. You're killing the run as this player comes, and again, everybody's shifting with us. And as you're killing the run, she's not able to connect with this player and get in behind. She will probably start to look to come inside to get into a position where she can serve the ball in the 18 or get a shot on goal. So once she starts to get near the top of the 18, where she can be dangerous, we're going to release that run and step and defend that player. And yes, do we leave this player available? Yeah, but the bottom line is, in the situation, she's now become the most dangerous player on the field. The ball's on her foot, right? She's in space where she can look to hit that ball. And if we're wide here, we may not be in a good position here to step all that way. That's a long way for us to go. It's easier for me to step and take that option away and deny her the shot. The good thing about this is 9 times out of 10, if she tries to send a ball in behind onto this player's run, we've now shrunk this space to just about 18 yards, and we tend to see these players overcook those balls. They go out of bounds, and guess what? They'll just have a goal kick. So that's how we defend by killing runs on the flanks. So if you're the 2 or the 3, and this is going on, take care of this run. Really, at the end of the day, it's this player's responsibility, the 6 or the 8, to come over and take care of that ball and help me out, right? That needs to happen. So work rate from our middies. But sometimes, it happens in games. We may not have that pressure coming like we wanted to, or she's just late getting there. It kind of happens sometimes. So that's how we take care of that business. Okay, having said all of that, let's talk about offside trap. Super important. What does Rush like to do? Rush likes to send balls from their backs over the midfield, behind our back line, into runs that their backs can make into that space. We want to neutralize those kinds of attacking plays from them by setting an offside trap. So let's just say we have these 2 forwards testing our back line. She's nice and high, pretty even, so that if a ball was sent in here, she can get on it. We have this player running at our back line so that they can get a ball in behind and she get on it, right? So what we want to do is read the body language of this player. When she takes a touch, either onto her left or her right side, and we can tell she's winding up to send the ball deep, and these runs are kind of going, right, as she's doing that. As she looks to strike the ball, we then step together. This is all happening at the same time. The ball is struck, and this player, because they will have continued their runs, they are now offside, and that is the offside trap. Key thing is that we be in a line so we're even with each other and we don't look disorganized like this. We are not linked up here. We are in a big mess. And if she takes a touch, right, and this player is not looking to see that she's even with somebody, and she steps trying to get her offside, well, it's a great step, but guess what? We have a defender who's deep, ball's in behind, and now we are in trouble. Maybe a 2v1 happening there. So how do we make sure that we are doing a nice job of staying even? Well, this player can be our guide, because sometimes, depending on what's going on here, she may not be even with us. This is ideal, but it doesn't always happen. So if she's a little high, right, we don't want to step, well, let me phrase that. Let me just make it simple. If she's a little high, then use this first center back as your player to set up with. Center back is here. The center back looks at her back, and she makes sure that they're even together, and then she looks at her back, and now we have a nice solid line. This is really ideal, and we would be shifting up and down together, but again, this doesn't always happen. So if this first player, the player nearest to the ball, is a little high, no worries. Get set up with this player. We're nice and straight with our line. So that's it. Remember, they're going to be looking to send balls in like this. And she'll be cruising down the flank, and they're looking to get that ball in behind. And they'll be looking to get balls in here as well. So again, we're going to be even. That touch goes. We can see our body language. We all step. And we're good to go. And this happens a lot further down the field. Let's just flip this over. quick. They'll do that with their back and their wide player. This is us here. Just kind of quickly for a visual. They'll do it when they're in this part of the field and not all the time when they're down in our defensive third. So bottom line, we can understand when it's going to happen by reading body language and understanding when this run is releasing into that space. And that's it. So hopefully the snow that we've gotten today is going to melt and we'll be able to play. We'll cover this again tomorrow just to recap and refresh our memory. One big thing that we'll be doing, I'm going to set this up here real quick. 6 on our 8, here's our 10. Again, what do they play tomorrow, this team? They play these wide players on the flanks that just work the whole sideline. They've got these forwards, and when the ball is, say, over here, this forward will tend to rotate. They'll tend to rotate a little bit like this. She'll tend to drop into support to allow for a lot of give and goes, so got to be careful with that. But this player is huge for their team. This is their 10. She's very dynamic. She's very dangerous. She's a big playmaker. And tomorrow we will have our a strategy that I'll share with you on how we're going to shut her down and take care of eliminating her as an option as often as possible. And if you can remember our 4v4v1, or somebody stepping to take care of that central player, we play, or excuse me, it's not 4v4v1, it's 4v4 plus 3, where we're shrinking and expanding, and we kind of make sure somebody's stepping to that midi and neutralizing her. It's basically the same idea. That's it, ladies. Again, excited to play tomorrow. Sorry that we had some bad weather today, but it's Colorado. It's springtime in the Rockies, and just looking forward to having you guys take the field tomorrow and show your stuff. So I will see you at 4:15.